So hello, let's start. Welcome to a webinar of UMDIS. Everyone, hello. We are waiting for everyone to join us now. This webinar, we have the great guest, Jeroen Van Lier. I will make him opportunity to present himself in a minute after we will all be here. UMDIS works for mushroom producers worldwide, and we are very happy that this time we can welcome so great guest from Netherlands. Jeroen has 30 years of experience, I believe that even more than 30 years of experience in mushroom growing. And I will give him opportunity to present himself in a minute after we all will gather here. So let's wait for some people who will also join us in a minute. You now can have some water or tea.
Good morning, Is. How are you?
Morning, Jeroen. All fine.
I'm happy to see you. Somebody famous.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that?
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
Good. So, UMDIS Mushroom Agency works for 12 years for mushroom producers. We are media agency, and you can go to our website always to read fresh news about mushroom industry. As well, we organize courses and consulting on mushroom production and mushroom harvesting, and we organize great events. I really think that they're great because we invite great guests. This time we invite Jeroen Van Lier. He is the consultant from Netherlands who consults everywhere, starting from Europe to Canada, India, everywhere in the world. And now, can you please tell about yourself to our people?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm Jeroen Van Lier. I'm working for more than 30 years in the mushroom industry. For the last 20 years as an independent consultant for composting and growing. As Ina said, I work actually all over the world, starting up new companies, giving courses for management, giving courses for composting, for growing, and just helping my friends to have a successful company. That's my job.
Good, good. So this topic of this webinar is nets. We will talk about growing nets, composting nets, and bloody nets. So how to use them, how to choose them. And this webinar is sponsored by 3 companies. The first company is Christian's Group. It is a leader in building and equipping mushroom farms and compost yards worldwide. They work on all continents. Christian's makes design and construction of mushroom farms and compost yards, climate systems, machines, shelving and lorries, modern harvesting systems, tilting shelves, robots, drawer system, and of course customized solutions. Another company which we are very grateful for sponsoring this webinar is AgroProject. It is a Polish company. They help to design and build mushroom farms and compost yards from scratch. AgroProject produce full set of equipment in-house, so they can equip your facility from one hand, and they offer turnkey design and supply of mushroom farms and compost facilities, advanced compost filling and emptying equipment, including head filling machines, energy efficient cooling, ventilation and control system, including solutions based on heat pumps, irrigation and purification systems, and shelves, manual, electric, and hydraulic picking lorries, and specially designed gates and doors, and equipment for exotic mushroom farms and substrate facilities. And the third company, which sponsored our webinar, is GrowTime. GrowTime specializes in manufacturing durable, efficient picking lorries, trolleys for mushroom farms, electric as well as hydraulic, which thanks to their solutions and high quality, increase the efficiency of harvesting, as well increasing the profitability of mushroom farm. GrowTime also offers aluminium shelves, lighting, growing nets, scales, knives, and other. This webinar is organized by UMDIS Mushroom Agency. We invite you to our courses. During this webinar as well, I will make the short presentation of our next course for beginners in mushroom production. And now I want to give the word to the director of our agency, Maxim Yenchenko, who is the founder and owner of our agency, and together they will talk about growing nets, and which is important, if you have any questions, there is the opportunity to write them in chat. You see chat and you can write them, and in the end of our webinar, we are going to answer all your questions. So now let's start talking about growing and composting nets.
Thank you, Ina, for introduction. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jeroen. So our today's topic is growing nets. And first, let's classify nets we use in mushroom farms and mushroom and compost yards.
Okay. In generally, Winch Trading is a company that are selling nets worldwide. Beside my consulting, I'm selling the nets because I'm visiting all the clients. They need nets, they need a good quality nets. So Winch Trading is looking for the good quality materials and supplying to the clients. For growing nets, we got 3 different types of nets. These nets are in principle all exactly the same, made from the same material. The only difference is there is a thickness difference. So the thicker the net, the stronger it is. The standard net can pull shelvings, pull compost out of shelving from 50 meters long. This is our standard net. For most farms in the world, this is good enough. There are stronger nets available, like what we use in Holland for the extreme long shelving from 100 meters. We got a special type of net, but for export, what most people need, the 50-meter net is strong enough and should withstand all the weight what you put on it.
Yeah, now you talked about growing nets for mushroom farm. I meant in more general mushroom farm and compost yard. So we have growing nets, we have composting nets and mats.
Yes, we got growing nets for in the shelving. We got pulling nets for the compost. So if you have a phase 2-3 facility, you have a net that you roll up to pull out the compost. You also got them in different types, also different materials. It normally depends how long the tunnels are and how much compost you have to pull. Between the bottom of the tunnel and the net, there is a gliding net. This gliding net actually reduces the friction of the pulling net. So the lifespan of the pulling net is much longer. This net is between the grid floor, the concrete, and the net. And it just reduces the friction and avoids that compost falls into the plenum underneath the tunnels.
Okay, you said that growing net is quite simple, but still when you order a growing net for your mushroom farm, you have to follow some consideration. First is the length of growing net, width of growing net. Can you tell what sizes, what dimensions, what parameters you should give to supplier to obtain nets that you really need?
If you have a standard farm, the length of the shelving, that's the most important. And then with that, you normally take 3 meters extra. So you need this 3 meters extra, especially when you empty the shelving. You need some net to start rolling if you start pulling out the compost. So you need some extra length for that. So that normally I count for 3 meters. And the beginning and the front, you also need 20 centimeters extra to make a sleeve in your net. A sleeve in the net is actually the back part of the net. you actually roll double. So I have a net here. And what the company is doing, they're making a sleeve like this and they seam it together. And then you have a hole here. So if you want to pull the net, you can put a bar in it and then you can start pulling. So if you order the net, don't forget to put the sleeve in and order 40 centimeters extra to make that sleeve.
And should you additionally mention to suppliers that you need the sleeve and you need the place to put bar in, or it's standard and you even shouldn't mention it?
I always would mention it just to be sure that you have it. It's also much better for the net. It's a weak point of the net. It's the edge. If there is no sleeve, you come directly on the side of the net you come in contact with, and this is where you can damage. This is where it also can get stuck. If you have a sleeve, it's nicely round and it protects the net actually quite good. So it's better to mention.
You recommend to have a sleeve also on the sides?
Oh, no, at the beginning and the end of the net.
I often saw narrow nets on mushroom farms. This is because of shrinkage, obviously. How you can calculate the shrinkage, and maybe it's worth to order a little bit wider nets that shells that you have, or it's no need in this?
Yeah. Normally, nets in growing rooms don't shrink much on the sides. If you have a standard bed size, let's say for 1.34 m, if you order them 136 or 138, you have more than enough net. If your net is shrinking, that means that you bought a net who's not strong enough. And when you empty a growing room and you start pulling on these nets, if the net stretches, then the net starts shrinking, and then it's a weak quality net. So
if you have, let's say you have good quality net, good quality shelf, should you order 138, 136, or
136 is good enough.
136. So this is a standard for growing nets for standard shelving.
For 134 shelving, correct. If your shelving is 1.4 meters, you order 142. Some people order a little bit wider. It depends on the type of shelving, how much place you have under your sideboard. You can go to 2 centimeters extra, but normally 2 centimeters is enough.
Good. Yeah, you have not a big choice of supplier of growing net, but still quite a lot of offers from famous European suppliers to Chinese nets. The prices are different. Some parameters are different. What should grower look to choose the best nets for him?
That's actually relatively simple. Just give me a call and we're going to be fine. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, I understand, but still, what parameters except width and the length of net and the sleeves should be asked? And should we go with cheaper options, or it's better to?
It's all about how much material the supplier puts in the nets. So if you have a cheaper net, there's normally a good reason why they are cheaper. They put less material inside, and this creates a weaker net. And you normally see it, I also see it in practice sometimes, is people start filling a room and your compost and your net is not sliding inside evenly. If you see it makes the whole time it's jumping a little bit, then you know that your net is not strong enough. So there is not enough material inside and you have a really uneven filling. So if you have a good type of net and you're filling, your net should slide in really evenly inside your shelving. That's the first indicator what you're going to have.
But this you will know after you get your nets.
Yeah, it's difficult to say what a good net is. You hear it from colleagues, what a good net is and what is not a good net. If you have a renowned company and you give them the correct length and the pulling weight, how much weight you are pulling, then this supplier can give you the correct net.
Good. And tell me, is there some mistakes or some problems that farm can have that makes life of nets shorter, damage somehow nets, make shrinkage more, like more often or something like this?
Yeah, it's there are a few things are really important with growing nets. When you empty it, when your compost is still really warm, 70 degrees, and you start pulling immediately, that's for a net quite difficult. So it's quite important to cool at least your net a little bit down, to cool the room down. It's also easier for the people to work in. And then you start pulling. Most damaging of the nets happens during filling. When you fill the growing rooms, when you fill the shelving, and you don't guide your net goods on the sides, this is where you damage most of the time your net. So when you do the filling, it's really important that on the end of the shelving, where the compost from the filling machine slides into your net, that you got two people there who keep your net straight. If you don't pay good attention to this part, you will damage your net. For the rest, it's of course the quality of the shelving. If your shelving is not straight, there are pieces of aluminium or steel sticking out. This is where your net can get connected and be torn apart. Normally, if you take care of these things, your net should last for a really long time in the growing rooms. Really for years. 10 years or older should be no problem.
Okay, so normally you expect growing nets you supply and good growing nets that they should last years.
If you have a good shelving and during filling, the people take good care of the guiding of the net, it should be no problem.
Okay, so you just change the net when you see some damages on it.
Yeah, damages. That's the only reason why you can change the net in the growing room. With tunnels, it's a different story, because then we talk about air going through the net. But in the growing rooms, as long as they are not damaged, you can keep using them.
Okay, so we can answer a question if there will be question about growing nets lately. Now let's move then to composting mats. You supply composting mats, so you know a lot about it, and I even don't need to ask question to you. So tell us about what you should consider when you choose composting nets. What differences between different nets? What you should think about.
In tunnel nets, there are actually two types of net. Everybody has these, all suppliers, including me. It's all about how they are built up. I got two examples here, and you already see the difference in the nets. On the right side, the black net, this is a much thinner net, and it's a cheap net for older tunnels, for small tunnels. Till if you're pulling 120, 130 tons on your tunnel, this net is normally fine. For all new tunnel facilities, they have this type of net, and they got a white line in it. This white makes the tunnel net extremely strong. This is the toughness of the net. This white stuff is also really expensive, so these nets are much more expensive. You got different thickness of these types of net, and the thickness determines the pulling weight. So all suppliers, including me, will normally talk about the pulling weight a meter. So that means if a tunnel is 4 meter width, so 4 meters, for example, times 50 tons, this net can pull 200 tons. So if you speak with your supplier, you have to tell them, what is your maximum pulling weight? And then your net supplier can determine if you have to choose an expensive net or a cheaper net. It all depends about the weight.
So, and sorry, this strong net you suggest for 200 tons of compost?
No, actually from 160 to and higher, you need these stronger nets.
Mm-hmm. What about width of the net, and should you consider shrinkage? So how, what width of the net you should ask?
In most companies, if you have a 4-meter tunnel, what the standard tunnel is, or a 3-meter tunnel, it's an older type, but we still see them. Most companies advise you to buy 4.1 meter tunnel nets width, or 3.1. The nets that I supply, we go a little bit more narrow. We make them 4.05 because my supplier put more material inside the nets, so we got less shrinkage. And in the beginning, we also supplied 4.1, but we didn't have enough shrinkage. So the size of the nets actually stayed intact and it folded double and it gave us a lot of problems. So we decided to go to 4.05 as a new standard. And with a little bit of shrinkage, it fits perfectly. It fits perfectly on 4 meters.
Good. If you have good tunnel, like new tunnels, you can use net compost net for years without damage it. But you have your net air conduction ability is slowing down. How you should understand that it's time to change net for compost tunnel?
In a tunnel net, it's like in growing rooms, the lifetime of a growing net is actually really long. For tunnel net, it's a completely different story. Normally, a tunnel net lasts for 1 year. In general, normally people, they always count how many pulls they have. So between 40 and 50 pulls, normally your tunnel net has to be replaced. It depends on the type of net you're buying, depends of how good your tunnel is, how good is your grid floor, you're using gliding nets or not. But if you have a nice straight floor and you install normal gliding nets, you have not extreme filling rates, 45 pulls should be no problem.
And is it depends of phase 2 or phase 3 composting?
Yeah, phase 2 is for a pulling net much easier to pull. Because phase 3 compost, it sits much longer in the tunnel. And if it sits 2 weeks in the tunnel or a little bit longer, your compost starts to shrink more and it actually falls into your grid floor. So to pull a phase 3 tunnel is much harder for a net than to pull a phase 2 tunnel. So if you use phase 2 tunnels, phase 2 nets, you can pull 50, maybe even 60 times without problems. If you're only pulling phase 3, after 40 times, you should look at them and probably replace them.
So if you hesitate, is there a risk to tear apart this net if the net is old and you have?
Yes, it's every time when you pull a net, your top layer or the bottom layer of this net slides off a little bit plastic. And you can see it if you look on an old net, you see these small fibers you actually see happening that is coming loose. So that your net actually gets every time a little bit thinner. It's minimum, but it is every time. So you do lose strength after a while.
It's maybe better to use old nets for phase 2 while newer nets for phase 3.
That's actually a really good idea, Maxim. I know companies who actually do that. And it's a good idea.
But it's not easy to manage just on compost yard, which net is what. Yes. Yeah, so
it depends on the setup of the compost yard. There are still compost yards who have a separate phase 2 facility, a separate phase 3. And they have to steam the tunnels, of course. But if they have that option, then it's a really good option.
Mm-hmm. Is there something you should know about gliding nets? And I want you to mention how you recommend to fix gliding nets on a concrete grid.
Okay, how to install a gliding net on a concrete grid? It really depends how the tunnels are being built. There are different types of constructions of how tunnels are being built. So yeah, I won't mention, oh, it'll be one of your sponsors, Christians. They put the gliding net with a rope on it and they put them underneath the tunnel. And this is how you install them. And it's actually working quite nicely. And there are other systems where you have the support of your grid on the sides. So you cannot go underneath with a rope. So you have to push it on the sides in and hold it with a rubber. So these are in generally the two types of connection of the gliding net. Both systems work. If you work with a rope, it's more solid. It normally stays much longer there.
Mm-hmm. So you actually know what types of tunnels you have and what fixing system you should ask for from supplier.
Correct. It really depends on the supplier, what type of tunnel you are building. And if you talk with your supplier, he normally asks you if you order a gliding net, if it's with or without rope.
If you have, let's say, composting mat pulling net is quite new, but because of some problems, maybe have small small cuts on site. Should you consider the risk of tearing this net, or it's still good to use?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. It really depends how big the cut is, where is the cut. If it's at the end of the tunnel, I would not worry about it. So the strength of the net is still there. But if it's in the beginning of the tunnel or halfway, if a net starts to break, you should consider changing it. Because I don't know if anybody ever emptied a tunnel by hand. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. So you don't want to take that risk. So you better replace your net quickly.
Couple of days.
You can do it in one day, but it's a lot of work, and the whole timing of the filling and your clients who buy the compost, everybody is stressed. So you want to avoid this situation.
Good. Thank you for suggestion. So I asked all questions I had, and before we come to additional questions from participants, Ina have to announce our course. Ina, to you.
Yep. Yes, we UMDIS organize different courses, and now I'm going to tell you about the course for people who are beginners in mushroom growing. As well, we have got other courses which are on the farm. If you want to receive the promotion discount for this course, you can write us here and we will send you, for the participants of this course, their promotional code. And now I try to find out how should I share my screen with you. Maxim, can you make me yeah, thank you very much, to be able to share, so I can tell you about the new opportunity to very short, but I will tell you about the course which we are going to have in June. It is online. If you know everything about mushroom growing, this course is not for you. So for you is there are mushroom courses on the farm which you organize. This course is online. It is 4 days online course from UMDIS agency, and it intends to give people 95% of basic knowledge which you need to start grow mushrooms successfully. And it will be 4 days. First day will be about set up a farm and the equipment which you need, and the second, third and fourth day will be about mushroom growing technology. It is 18 to 21 of June. So as you can see, this course is for those who want to start to grow mushrooms, who has started already and don't have enough good experience, and for those who want to refresh their knowledge. It is for evenings, and it is 2 hours every evening 18, 29, 21 of June. Here on this slide, you can see the experience of UMDIS, what we have. And already we have done 30 plus courses. Here it is the program. The first will be about setting up a mushroom farm. If you already have a mushroom farm, it will be already good for you, also good for you, because we will talk about some equipment which probably you can have to make your climate better and to, better climate, better mushrooms. And here you can see the program for the second and fourth day. I'm not going to read all this, but it is about all stages. We will help you to understand how to do everything good, from the filling of rooms to emptying the rooms, from actually taking your trays with your beautiful white mushrooms, so how to receive all these beautiful white mushrooms. Here you can see the reviews about the course from one of our previous courses. Like, I'm very satisfied with what I have learned during the course. Actually, people are satisfied because we make this course online, and for the group like 10 people, so it is the opportunity to make this course very cheap for everyone in the world. The course price is €300 for participants of this course, or for those who will watch it online and ask us for the promo code. We will give the opportunity to join for €250 if it is paid till 9th of June. To remember, the course starts on 11th of June. It is your opportunity to as well ask your questions, because all this course is online. The trainer speaks with you, answers your questions. So it's like you receive some small consultation. So make your mushroom business come level up just in 4 days. We start on 11th of June. And the sponsors of this course will be Grow Time, Agro Projects, and the Christians Group. Thank you very much for your attention. And now let's go to their questions. I see that Nasir, for example, have their questions, because he will manage all this process.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Nasir from Belgium. Have you my sound?
Yeah, we hear you, Nasir.
Yeah,
Hello.
okay, hello. I have a question from Jeroen. Would you please inform us about lifetime of tunnel? I mean, about hours of each period of pasteurization and conditioning, I mean. It's the exactly time for keep the tunnel lifetime in good quality.
You talk about pasteurization time for the compost?
No, Jeroen, I mean about the lifetime of each net in tunnels. I mean, how many periods of pasteurization and conditioning?
Normally, do you have phase 2 or phase 2-3 tunnels? That makes a
Phase
difference.
2. Yes, phase 2.
Normally, they should be able to last for at least 50 or 60 pulls. It should be no problem. It depends, of course, of the filling rate, how much compost you're filling a square meter. So you go over 1,400 kilograms a square meter, that means that you have a high filling rate, and then your net is going to lose quality faster. But till 1,400, it's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Yeah, thank you. As you know, actually I'm in Belgium now, but I work in Iran. As you know, the net is very expensive for us in that country, and some farmers, trying to use more and over time of the nets, and it's sometimes make some problem, like some disease for them or anaerobic and like this.
Yeah, if you want to use your net longer, it depends on the quality of the net, of course, and you have to keep it clean, because you also got a problem with airflow. Like in the beginning, your nets, the threads are beautiful round, and your air goes through it. You have a lot of air going through it, but after a while, the nets are getting actually flatter, and it stops the airflow. So
Yeah, you're right.
the most important is to keep it clean as much as you can. Don't use any chemicals. Don't use chlorine or anything to clean the nets. Just by using water, you should be able to clean it quite good. And if you have low filling rates, you can go to 60 pulls. I have clients who do 70. It depends on the filling rate and the quality of the floor.
Yeah. We are trying to actually wash the net of rooms, sometime with net washer machine, or sometime with car wash nozzles
Yes,
with
yes.
high pressure. It's possible for the tunnel nets also. We can use of pressure of water for cleaning them.
Be a little bit careful with high pressure, because if you use too much high pressure, and I see people doing it, and then you're actually blowing the fibers, the threads, they actually, what you see, small threads coming out. So you're actually damaging the surface of the net. So
Yeah.
with the high pressure, I would be really careful. It's better before you start washing, make your net a little bit wet and let it soak in for maybe a half hour. That always
Yes,
helps.
I see.
That always helps.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
From which company are you? In Iran?
Excuse me?
From
Pardon?
which company in Iran are you?
Actually, as you know, in Part Shahriar with Nami farms and with Javana
Okay.
and this food.
Okay. No, I've been to Iran a few times, so
Yes, but they are looking for your advice and available knowledge. They also talking about your good knowledge, and they hope to you join to Iran if possible again.
was there many times. Always loved it. Always loved Iran.
Thank
Love to
you.
come back.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Nasir.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Nasir. Does
Thank you.
someone have other questions to Aaron? Aaron, I would ask one more question. Do you have top and bottom side of nets, any nets, and should you flip it sometimes and use as bottom side and another side of the net?
Button size, sorry, Maxime, I don't understand.
Do you have top and bottom sides of the net?
No.
Or
No.
you don't. So should you flip sometimes the net and use it different in different side on the top, or
No,
it doesn't matter?
No, it actually doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So
Maxime, there are nets available on the market who have a top and a bottom side, but these are being used in Holland. Like normally growers put plastic between the net and the compost. And there are nets available where they actually put a really thin coating on it so that you don't have to use plastic. And they have a top and a bottom side. If you put the coating on the bottom, you're actually tearing off the coating. So the coating always has to be between the compost and the net. But these are really nets that you have to see outside Holland. So most people probably never saw them, but they are on the market.
okay, thank you. Okay, I see no more questions. So thank you very much for your time, Jeroen, and for information that was useful, I hope, for our visitors. We will publish this webinar on our YouTube channel and on our website. And see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.